when you were selling products, school or college, who was your first customer and how much did you sell it for?
No, that was first time I did 25 rupees I
Yeah.
sold. Photo frame, I'll make a stand in just a cardboard box itself. And then I decided I shouldn't sell in school because one day I got worried. What will do if the management knows that I'm selling products? So I was got worried.
What three businesses are you running and how are you running them, and what is the kind of revenue you are able to make in those businesses?
So on an average, we clock around 30 to 40 lakhs per month on all the three
That's
business.
amazing. So, how did motherhood impact you and your business?
First grade, my graph grew. Second grade, I thought graph will go down, but again it went higher because they are teaching us a lot of stuffs.
Right, right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Female Founders Podcast. My aim here is to highlight women's stories who have been doing exceptionally well and what can we learn from them. Today I have with me Niveda. She is an e-commerce mega superstar with her recent event that she did in Chennai. You should definitely check it out. She has been running this business for the last 11 years. That's a big number. So much experience right there. And she helps businesses to scale on Amazon as well. And we learn so much more from her. So let's get started. First of all, I'd like to welcome you, Niveda. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Manmit, for inviting me.
So let's get started. And my first question that I ask every guest is that why did you want to become an entrepreneur?
From my small age, I just want to become an entrepreneur. We have multiple thoughts, like become a teacher. So when I thought of becoming a teacher, I've always thought let's become principal. When I thought of becoming a doctor, I always thought let's become the hospital owner. I didn't know
Yeah.
at that time that it was entrepreneurship. So once I finished my college, I was little worried. Like I have to again go back and do all these things, what others are doing. I just want to stand outside from the crowd. So I thought, okay, I have to build my own thing. And honestly, I didn't have anything like money, assets, that and all. I didn't have any dream because many people think you come into entrepreneurship just for money, but I was
Right.
not into it at my initial days. I didn't know you can make a good amount of money in business also. I was so small when I started. I started at college final year, but that
Okay.
maybe that leadership quality was there. I feel somewhere I felt like I have to lead, and especially I've seen a lot of films in Tamil where women will be a boss, and they project in such a way that they're very strict.
Yes.
Suddenly they will be
Right.
slapping. There won't be any logic. It's like, hey, come on, yeah, why are you slapping? So all
I've seen that in Bollywood movies as well.
Yeah, so whenever there is a movie with a boss woman, they project in a very wrong way. Like I just felt like this is not the true. You can even be friendly, no? Like you can be a leader. So I just felt like I want to break all those stereotypes. So somehow maybe I feel I'm connecting all the points, but it just like that started. That's a very honest answer.
No, I think that is really nice. Two things that I understood from there is one, I think a lot of people, including me, began business and entrepreneurship thinking there's a lot of money. And then, your myth breaks when you get into entrepreneurship. So it was really nice for you that it was not the money that attracted you. And second, I think I have the same thought. I have also felt it so many times. Wherever you see successful women, they are a little arrogant, little rude, their body language is too stiff. And I'm like, why do you always show this? That's exactly true. All right. So you thought of doing a business and doing entrepreneurship in the last year of your college. So what was the first idea you came up with? What did you do, and what was your first business?
Okay, I was actually selling products during my school itself. Like I used to make handmade jewelry. I used to make some craft item and sell to my friends at that time, school days
Okay.
itself.
All
So I
right.
thought, okay, whatever I know, I'll better continue. I know to do jewelry. I started making jewelry and they said, okay, let me sell this. I approached a friend circle. So that was the time this camera and all was coming, like camera phone was coming. It was 2013. Of course, I didn't have any good smartphones and all. A very basic phone. I just took the shots. I created a Facebook page, just posted, said the friends that I'm just trying it out. But honestly, I did not get much of the orders from friends and all. I tried little outside the family circle, and I said people like at the time I still remember I created a blog post in the WordPress and all. It will have
Yeah.
something, no, that WordPress or blog post, something I
Yeah.
created. I said I have a website, something here and there clumsily. I was trying to sell products only, But everything I understood it was a failure. And then only I completely moved into online marketplace selling from because it was a
Okay.
failure and friends and
Hmm.
family did not give much of the orders. And sometimes you feel like you're going a little down and carrying all the goods, going to their home. That and all I felt little okay. Somehow I have to change this because I
Right.
always don't mind doing anything. Like even when my mom was doing a catering business, I have served people also.
Right.
During even when I was working in corporate, also I've done that. So I don't think like any job is wrong. But somewhere I felt I have to come out of this only then I can build and make good amount of money. So that was the reason I came completely online and sold on Amazon, Flipkart, Shopclose, every site out there.
Okay. Okay. And which year was this? When did you come on Amazon and Flipkart?
It was 2015. I started in 2013, but I tried
Okay.
multiple stuffs. In
Okay.
between, you will have this shiny object syndrome, right? So I even went to
Yes.
little affiliate marketing. Um,
Yes.
then I said e-commerce or affiliate marketing. I was confused. What is e-commerce? Whether am I doing it correct? That was the time documentation and all was coming. So
Okay.
that confusion state, I was trying both. And 2015, I understood no, let's not waste our time. Let's get settled on one niche. That's e-commerce for us. Somehow we are connected. I don't know why. So let's stick onto it and started sticking to that.
Okay, okay, got it. So I'll just take you one step back, and when you were selling products in your, who was your first customer, and how much did you sell it for?
Customer itself, but I remember the entire project. Like we have the shift timings in the school where we go in the lunch. Okay, lunchtime. I
Yes.
guess it was fifth or sixth. I don't even know. And I
Oh,
sold
that
25.
early.
Yeah, no, that was first time I did 25 rupees. I
Yes.
sold, and I just made a stand for all the. They will give me a photo frame. I'll make a stand in just a cardboard box itself. So just
Okay.
25 rupees I made, and then I decided I shouldn't sell in school because one day I got worried. What will do if the management knows that I'm selling products? So I was got worried, and then I
Yes.
said I shouldn't do it. But then later, after 10th, 11th, or 12th, I asked my parents to help me in setting a business, etc. But at the time, we were not able to do it, and I was more focused on studies. So I do not compromise studies. So
Right.
since I was that, I did not focus much on business.
Right. But at least you had that, eagerness in you that back in fifth and sixth, that's so early to get your first, payment from a customer, no matter how small or big. But that early in your, I think,
Yes.
childhood, doing that is a lot of encouragement itself. And that drives you, that gives you the courage. Okay. So now let's come back to 2015 when you came online. So when you came online, what were the due diligence that you had to do? Did you need any kind of investment? Any kind of inventory, or how was the first online setting of business look like for you?
In itself, I started with 2,000, 3,000 rupees only. And
Okay.
the money was not a problem for me because during the college days, I was taking tuition. So I pulled out money from there. And I was parallelly working for 2 years also in software
Okay.
company. So whatever the money that I made sure that my family is always happy, first
Yeah.
priority. Rest of the money, I don't have any liabilities. I don't know about the future. No
Right.
worries, right? At that early stage, I simply put everything on the business, and my dad helped me with his PF amount and all. And I
Okay.
started repaying month on month. So it was going very smooth. But I guess 2016 only, I felt like we have to definitely get some more money. And I got loans outside also. Till
Okay.
that, majority of my thing was my dad PF amount, and mostly my mom helped with the goals also. So she
Okay.
said, if you're very confident, you can take the gold, keep it. This is for your marriage only. So you
Yeah.
keep it, you repay it. It's on you. So she
All right.
gave me the gold, so I made sure that I'm keeping it, and I was very confident that I'll pay the dues properly. I'll take it back because again it's for my marriage. So that every small saving that every family does, right? Traditional family, it was helpful for me.
Right, right. I have a lot of curious questions here. Number one, I would want to ask, when you went online, was it the jewelry business or was it some other product? Were you
Yeah,
still
yeah.
selling jewelry?
I started jewelry only, but again it was a failure because in jewelry you have to take a proper shoot, and I only was a
Right,
designer. You
right,
can't like my brother one day said me like think wisely. You cannot be the manufacturer. You cannot be the seller. You can't do all the task you
right,
yourself. So better buy and sell it. He always used to say me like, why are you sitting always with your work? So
right,
when I
right.
go for the
That's so
office and
true.
come, I'll sit, I'll design, and then I'll take the shoot. Everything it was very hectic for me. So he said me, come out of this, think something different. You buy from someone, sell it. You buy from someone. So that was the
Okay.
time I thought, and I decided I shouldn't go for jewelry because design wise is very higher. You cannot convince
Right.
people so easily. And at the time and all, now people know about photo shoot. At the time, it was so hard to figure out a
Yeah.
photographer, to spend money and all. So I thought, okay, let's jump into the toys niche, and I completely moved from jewelry. I stopped it abruptly, and then moved into toys niche, stationery, little clothings. Like this, I started trying multiple niches.
Okay, okay, understood. But you decided on one thing, that rather than creating the product and selling it,
Yes,
it is better to focus on the sale and let the creation happen somewhere else. So
yes,
you become the distributor, and there is a manufacturer who's giving you the material, and you become the distributor now.
yes, right. Some
Okay.
similar kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, understood. My next question that I'm sure people who are listening to this podcast might have, you mentioned that your dad helped you with the PF amount, and you very slightly mentioned that I started paying back. So my curious question would be that, and for everyone who's listening to this podcast, and I'll tell you why I'm asking this question. Was there any particular reason that you decided to pay back the money to your own dad?
Very strict. He treats like that only, and whatever he says is more logical. In fact, he
Yeah.
asked me interest actually. So I
Oh.
said, I said, no, I won't pay interest. He had a fight. Like, see, he's very clear. Whatever dad says now, if I think no, 100% it's true. Like, it is his own hard-earned money for the past 40 years or
Yes.
something. He got retired. I can just like that snatch and say business and go away. I can get married. I can cheat him. But
Right.
what I know, he said me you have to pay interest. I said no, I'm the starting stage. I cannot pay you the interest, but I assure you that I'll repay you. Then he
Yeah.
said, no, without interest, I can't give you. He said. Then my mom came and convinced, like, see, come on, she's our kid, you have to help. So then he
Yeah.
said, no, I earned this money. He was more logical. I earned this money. This money should give me money. If that is not giving, I will put an FD. No, even in FD, I'll get money. So why should I
Right.
give you? He asked a very valid point. I
Yes.
completely agree, but I fought with him. But honestly, I should have given him interest also. So,
No, I
but
completely. Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So that's very important. And my dad was very strict, and I like the way that he was very open. Because honestly, if it have said no, if I wouldn't have given the money, that PF amount would have been lost somewhere. And now, if he ask me also, I'll be like, leave it, leave it. So that shouldn't
Yeah.
happen. So in our relationship, we should value money more, whomsoever it is, husband, wife, or whatever it is. So if you repay, people will be happy to help you again.
That's so true. Primarily I ask this question is because I have similar thoughts, and that's how we do it in the family as well. If I am taking, or if my mother is taking from me, or for that matter, if we are taking, from my father-in-law, or vice versa happens, we always do this. That, or me and my husband as well. We have an Excel sheet of an account who has to pay who. That's exactly there. And I think primarily I ask this question is because I wanted to highlight the fact that it is just not about the fact of money. It is also about the kind of learning that your father might have given you through that activity, which is a sense of
Exactly.
responsibility. Is because if you would have got that money, that's a little feeling of taking your own parents for granted. Oh, they have the money, my father will give me, my mother will give me, or they'll do this for me because I'm their kid. And then when you lose that money, you don't feel the loss in your heart, is because
Exactly.
you have not worked hard for it, and you feel, okay, the money is gone, they'll help me again. But that feeling of paying back gives you a sense of responsibility, that no, if I lose this money, I lose this money, and then I have to pay back also.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
I think that kind of teaching the parents that give at home, because your parents strict with you right now, but in the real life, when you actually deal with people and money like this, things can go way harsh. So I think that learning is very important that your father gave you, and I'm sure it is helping you in numerous ways today.
Yes, even if I take a loan, I take the responsibility, and even for paying the salary, I take the responsibility. Even last month, what happened? I'm using Razorpay payroll system.
Yeah.
I 31st I made the transfer. Okay, unfortunately, it was a very huge amount, and I it did not reflect in the Razorpay software. I cannot repay again. I was very worried. I came and said the team like I'm extremely sorry, team. It seems it will take 1 day to 2 day to resolve. The team was okay, but I had a guilt feel. I could
Yes.
have made it a day before, but I generally do it on the last day. So now I got a learning, because when you treat money as a valuable thing, you may think it's just a lakh or just 50,000. For others, even 1,000 rupees, 100 rupees will be more valuable. So always I feel we
100%.
have to respect money, and other people may require, we don't know when they require. So always we have to respect that.
100%, 100%. I think that is a very important bit that you have shared. And everyone, and I hope all the parents, give this sense of responsibility to their children, for sure. All right. So, yes, I would want to know. So, 2015, you started your business, you went online, all the platforms. And how was the business for you in the first year? Like, how did you perform? What is the kind of money you had invested, and what were the kind of returns you were able to make in the first year when you went online?
Not maintain any Excel sheet, to be very frank. It will come,
Okay.
I'll rotate, it will come, I'll rotate. But it will coming in lakhs and all, I was just happy. But there was one
Okay.
point of time I clearly understood. Even I remember my auditor saying, you just now started, how are you reaching 10 lakhs easily per month? So
Yeah.
one point of time I started working on accounts and I understood everything is just revenue. I did not even take a penny. But
Oh,
since
there was no
money was in
profits.
rotation, yeah, no profits. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. Things were
Yeah.
in rotation, loans were coming, I was repaying everything. I was doing very properly, but everything was just in rotation. You were assets, everything was there, but I did not make profit. So it
Yeah.
took late 2017 for me to understand when I had some bad hits. For example, my dad was hospitalized, I had a surgery. So when
Oh,
your balance go negative, then you will be like, okay, I should have an asset, I should have at least stock to sell and repay. I did
right.
not have that. So that was the time I clearly understood, okay, that means I did not make money. Just I was thinking I was make money. I just
Right, right. So I think one of the mistakes that all of us as business owners do is that when the business is getting the revenue, the ball is rolling, it feels as if the business is running. But then, as a founder, as a business owner, what is the money that we take home? Because there is no fixed income that we put for ourselves, there is no salary that we put for ourselves, so we don't really know what are we taking home. And I think that is the kind of learning you got, if I'm correct.
yes, so that was a very big hit for me, like 2017. But only one thing, I had huge dues for the supplies and all. Every supplier know me that I pay on time. So I
Yeah.
asked permission, mentioning my dad's operation. Everyone knows that it happened. I majority of my supplies was in Chennai, like my location is in Chennai.
Okay.
So they understood it and they gave me time. So
Okay.
that really helped me, and that was the time I came into agency. Like I didn't have
Okay.
any money, gold and all, everything was in operation, everything was there, and my marriage was 2017 only. So that year
Oh,
was a
okay.
huge hit. So
Oh,
marriage
yeah.
expense, my I got a accident. I got a sudden surgery. My dad was suddenly hospitalized for brain operation. Money went like anything, and we were clueless. But marriage also should happen. So I thought,
Right.
okay, everything went out. Gold is not there. Everything is in bank. I thought, okay, why don't we convert our knowledge into money? I cannot now buy stocks and play with it. I didn't have money.
Right.
So that was the time I started little as a freelancer, getting sharing help to the people who are selling on Amazon, Flipkart, helping with small tasks, getting 500,000, small, very low tickets. Whatever they
Right.
share, I know or I don't know, I learn, I'll do it.
Right.
So
Okay.
at one point of time, orders were flowing like anything, and that's how I started hiring people. So
Okay.
that's how
Understood.
agency started growing.
All right. So before the agency started, were you working solo up until this point?
Ah,
Before
yes,
the agency?
complete solo. I have
Okay.
not even, I don't even know there is someone called photographer. Nothing. So complete. That's what I used to say in my home. There will be that rolling chair. No, I will be sitting in the rolling chair. I'll start. I'll catch a train. I'll go buy the goods. And even we have this TVS 50 vehicle at that time. I used to keep all the loads. I used to come. Hardly my family knows that I'll do it all alone. So I have done it all alone, and I won't feel like any job is low job and all. Everything I myself
Yeah.
will do. So after this, all this hit only, I slowly understood like I have to build a team. And marriage
Right.
also came. Life was a little different. Like I didn't expect. Like everything
Yes.
was like wow, right before marriage. Like you just like that sit, coffee will come, food will come.
I know.
Everything was like that. Then after marriage, I don't even know to cook. Like not even a single thing. I don't even know the four varieties of dal at that time when I started. Then
Yeah, I know.
I don't even see YouTube also at that time in 2017 and all. I didn't even have mood. Then okay, I learned what is this dal alone morning with my husband. He knows cooking, and I tried cooking, and sometimes it will be very bad. So I understood half a day will go for this itself. So you won't have time. So
Learning.
somehow, yeah, somehow you have to hire people. It seems because you should do lot of works.
Right. Right. Things change differently after marriage, that's for sure.
Yes.
And we'll come to that. We'll come to that. But I would definitely want to focus on the fact. Okay, you've built an agency now, and as you said that you knew that your asset right now is the knowledge that you've had for the last 3 4 years in the business that you've built and the revenue you've got, and you could monetize it. So I think this was the time where you transitioned as an e-commerce coach agency where you could help people, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you started with low ticket, and ever since you've been working as an e-commerce coach. And are you still running your product business, or are you helping people monetize
No,
or
I'm
grow
doing
their business?
all the three business. One is product business, another is agency, another is coaching business. So I treat every
Okay.
funnel separately. So all the three funnels are running.
Okay, so what we'll do is, I know this is coming at a later part of the podcast, but this was because I wanted people to know the story where you come from. Because most of the times, people listen to us where we are today and they kind of are taken aback thinking, oh, how will I reach there? But they need to know the story of where we are coming from and what is the kind of struggle we have seen. So, if you could tell us that what three businesses are you running and how are you running them, and what is the kind of revenue you are able to make in those businesses?
Okay, at 2013, I started this product selling. So, that's how I started the selling, failure, success. Even 2 years before, I got a failure in product business because I did some partnership and all. So, it's
Yeah.
always happening. So, that is one thing that is going on. And 2017, I started this freelancing and converted into an agency. So, that
Okay.
is my Newgen Max Digital Solution. We are currently working on. And coaching, I started at 2020.
Okay. All right.
So that was that COVID time when it got hit, and I had my baby also. So I thought I can get more free time and jump into coaching, which was completely wrong. I got stuck at that time. So because at that time I did not focus on anything, I was not emotionally stable. I was not in a very good position. So I thought, okay, I'll come into coaching. So then after 2021, I some business ups and downs were there. So after 2021, I started focusing on all three business together and started boosting all the three business together. So on an average, we clock around 30 to 40 lakhs per month on all the three
That's
business.
amazing. Yeah.
And it depends. Honestly, to say there will be 1 month where my coaching is higher, 1 month agency, 1 month e-commerce. It
Right.
depends on the entire structure. But my main focus is on agency, to be very frank, because agency is the one where I started learning. Like we have clients where they're doing even a crore. Even I'm not able to do for my product business, to be
Right.
very frank.
Right.
So I
Right.
really wonder like how people are doing 1 crore on Amazon only. I have a client,
Okay.
1 crore on just Amazon per month. Even I'm not able to clock that number. So when you have an opportunity to work with such people, you understand the entire D2C structure, entire e-commerce structure. So I always love agency, but it changes. It is like a mood. When agency is
Yeah.
having a problem, I'll be like, I should close the agency. So the mood changes always. And in e-commerce, sometimes when there is an operational problem and you're not able to manage it, because I live in another state, so that will make me stressful. Like I should close the e-commerce business. Like this, you think everything. It is like a balance of all the three business.
Right. Right. And also, could you tell us about the three funnels that you're running in these three businesses?
So very simple. In product business, it's all about selling on marketplaces and also on the websites, etc. So last 1 year only, I have cut down all the partnerships. So in between, what
Okay.
mistake I did was in the product selling itself. I thought, okay, I'll be an investor. I'll work with some product as a partnership, and I tied some partnership agreement. So instead of building, I was building my own brand, but I thought it will be way more easier. But that and
Right.
all gave me a negative impact. And by last year, I decided like you have to no more partnership in product selling. Let me build my own thing slowly. So that's something that I made a major mistake. So here we sell products everywhere, but not international. I am not jumped into international things, but only in India we are selling. So when it comes to the agency, we help only one niche. We help Amazon business owners to boost the sales through PPC, pay per click. Only
Okay.
this service we are doing, very niche specific. And we help clients in India, US, UK, all these United Arab, UAE sites, etc. So outside this, we are not doing other countries. Majority we focus only these countries.
Okay.
And when it comes to the coaching funnel, I teach people on how they can start their Amazon business. And I don't promise like you can become a millionaire, billionaire. Like you can at least make 30,000 in 30 days. Very minimal.
Right.
very reasonable, which is possible. So only small goals I give, and I give a small investment. So in other words, like whatever I teach, I practice. Whatever I practice, I teach. All three combined together helps me to run all the things together.
Yes, yes. I think that's the best part of it, like you said. And I always say this, that be a practitioner. So,
Yes.
something that you're doing in your product business already, whatever will keep evolving in your industry, you'll do that in the agency that is done for you. You will implement for your clients and see how it is working.
Yes.
And then you will teach it to your students as well, that, this is what I did, this is what I implemented for the clients, and this is what the results are. Now you can replicate. So, it's actually ever evolving. You'll always be up to date in your industry, and that is what
Correct.
you'll teach. So people will always like to come to you in your industries because you're just not teaching, you're actually doing it and teaching it. So that's the best kind of case study, uh, that people trust, I feel.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I think that has been like an amazing journey to coming to these three businesses and clocking close to 40 lakh a month. Okay, how many team members do you have now?
So currently we have 12 full timers, and of course we
Oh,
have part timers, photographers. It would be around 25 max to max, but full timers is only 12.
yeah, but I think that's a great number, 12 full-time people, and helping people now that gives a sense of achievement when actually give out the salaries. I get that feeling
Exactly.
whenever you have to put
Exactly.
matlab, the
That
day you
every,
have to.
every last day of the month, whenever you pay the salary, I'll take 5 minutes to actually appreciate myself. It may be too selfish, but I do it.
Yeah, I feel the same, and I give that gratitude to myself, to the people around me, to God, to be able to put me in that position that I can help people with an income. So it gives a really nice feeling and a sense of gratification that I'm in this space and I'm able to do this. I would also love to know that since you were sharing about your journey, and I have seen that recently you did a very massive event in Chennai that was really amazing. Could you tell us about the event and your experience organizing the event?
Okay, so we did an event in the month of February 2024 where we did for e-commerce sellers. Like if there's someone who wants to start the business or who's already in the e-commerce business want to scale, we had framed the entire show like that, and
Okay.
we even brought few D2C founders on the table, not just D2C founders, multiple people like who's having an offline store, who's doing it for the
Right.
past 100 years, and who's doing only manufacturing selling, who's not manufacturing, only doing private label. Like this we had variety of people, even export people, and
Right.
we had a healthy interaction and we took it. Actually it was not planned massive, but it went like that. But to organize an event it is very hard. So that was the only learning that I got. I literally went mad before few days of the event. I was completely blabbering, I was completely scolding everyone. So I said, my team, please apologize me for the next 1 week. I'll be like this only. They said, relax, we will handle it. But my team did a wonderful job. And of course, there was an event management team also. So just before the day of the event, we assembled there and we planned how are we going to take the entire day. And I said, literally, my team only one thing. Tomorrow, I'll wake up at 4. I'll get ready. I'll just come and sit in the front row. I won't even turn back. There shouldn't be any problem coming to me. I just want to enjoy the day. I know problems will
Yeah.
come, you have to handle it. So just we had a very healthy interaction and shared what problems can come, how to handle it. And my team did a wonderful job. So they did not even bring any issue to me. Of course, issues
Yeah.
were there. Like later they said this was the issue, we solved it that way. So it was very hectic. So before the event, I thought I shouldn't even do any more events. But at the end of the event, when people come and speak to you and they said, okay, when is the next event in Delhi, Mumbai? They started asking like this and planned for a 2-day event. They came with the topic suggestions and everyone started appreciate that went for 1 week actually appreciation itself. Like I was
Oh,
like,
that's so
okay.
amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, okay, then we should plan it, it seems, but the amount of stress that it gave was way too higher.
Yeah, yeah. But I think looking at the videos, looking at that bigger picture, I think it feels very fulfilling for you to look at that and feel, okay, we were able
Yeah.
to do this. And I
Yes.
love the part where you said that your team you were kind of humble enough to tell them, okay, this is what is going to come your way. Please be prepared. This is what is going to come your way. I might be angry, but please be prepared. And then giving that gratitude and trusting your team that they're able to pull it off. I think that is what keeps you moving forward and, getting that next milestone, and the next after that.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Because I always believe team. If team is not there, if family is not there, I can't sit here. Okay, someone should take care of my
100%.
kids. Same way only. If team is
100%.
not there, then we can't have an interaction right now. So team, I feel like it's like second family. So even though we work in remote, I make sure that they get all the sophistication, whatever possible. And I always say them, inform your family also. Like you
Right.
guys have got an insurance. You guys are getting the salary on time. You guys can take holiday, and we are even thinking of planning a vacation all together also. So
That's what I'm thinking of as well.
yeah, because we have to do this event made me the feel because once you people when they came to the event they felt it. Their
Yes.
family will actually feel it. So these
Yes.
guys are doing a great job, and especially my organization is more women centric. So we have more women with
Same.
kids. So now this what happens? The mother-in-law, so the mother. There was one person, Saraswati from my team, who said me this word. I should have brought my mom to this event.
Yeah.
Like she said me like because they always ask me. She's a sales closure. They always
Yeah.
ask me what are you actually doing? Why are you always speaking? She makes good money. Money is different, but people actually want to know what their kids are actually doing. So they think
Yeah.
they're in a small level. So that's what I felt. No, you guys have to enjoy with a vacation. So we have to definitely do that.
Right, right. I agree to you on so many levels. Everything that you just said there, I think I'm on with you on the same page. 100%. I have the same feeling.
I
I
believe
think
women entrepreneurs will think the same.
I was about to say that, yeah, that being a woman entrepreneur, that feeling comes and you're able to relate well.
Yes.
Talking of the women entrepreneurs, I think there are few things that only women can feel. Like you said, that as soon as you got married, there were a few things that changed. So I would love to ask that, what was your experience when you got married and how did it impact your business?
Okay. So I know like the guy whom I'm going to get married since it's a love marriage. And he is more supportive. Like we have even defined from the beginning, morning is my section in the kitchen. It's evening is time. Everything we plan weekly one outing. But still it was very hard for me to manage because I have never ever went to the kitchen. Hardly one or twice only I would have done it. Majority my brother, dad, mother used to take care. They won't even allow me. And once my brother got married, my sister-in-law used to take care. Like everyone is very support. Like in my family, there is no difference. My dad used to cook some dish good means he will cook it, and they have
Right.
not disturbed me. I don't know why, but when I came here, this cooking and another important thing, washing vessels itself was very hard for me. Like, "Hey, come on, you should wash the vessels." And when I came, no, I
Right.
came from Chennai to West Bengal, so I didn't have an helper initially. Like I don't want to hire because I don't know Hindi. I don't know
Right.
Bengali itself. I was very scared like to hire someone because I myself don't know any language. So sometimes we got fight and all like you have to wash the vessel, I have to wash the vessels. This and all is very practical thing. So it was very hard for me. So that was the time I thought, okay, let me hire some person for my team. Like I have to hire people. And after a few days only, I thought, okay, and now I started hiring for the team. Then we have to hire someone for helping us around in the house. So I was okay, said like it's already even I don't know Hindi or Bengali. Let me hire someone. I will at least speak like a normal
Yeah.
sign language and I'll convince them. So slowly I got help for the family also. And I and my husband have a very clear logic, like when he should cook, when I should cook. And Sunday
Right.
we plan the entire day because we are far away from our home. There is no one to help. So we know Sunday, like half a day we go for outing, the half a day we plan for the next week completely, so that both of us are really happy. So it was hard for us, but down the line I cracked it. So I
Yeah.
know like
Yeah.
what you should do, what you should not do. But when I got married, it was like I was completely worried. Oh my god, I took a very great step. It's going to affect the business. I even said my husband like I'm little worried. Like will I become zero in business and be completely dependent on you? Like I always used to say, I shouldn't come and ask you a single penny. I don't have that
Right.
mindset. You'll be like, no, you can ask. I said, no, I don't want to ask. So from
That's
the
true. I
beginning, I had
have
that
this
thought.
I have the same feeling. I can ask, the money is there, but I don't want to ask.
Yes.
because I've been working for so long, so I don't want to ask. And I think the entire what you've shared right now, there's one thing that I've got out of it, that marriage is partnership. And if you're able to do that partnership very well, you get, because in the first year of the partnership, you're still figuring out how to settle things. When you
Correct.
streamline it, it becomes well. So I think every women who's doing very well in their businesses, in their careers, is because of a very strong partnership at home with their spouses.
Yeah,
That's what I
completely
feel.
true. Without that, you can't do it. And another thing is like you have to ask. Are you
Yes.
see like I should be more specific. Yes, I say for example today my meeting schedule. My mother-in-law knows. I have asked her help and I said I need your help. And the morning itself I'll say okay I have a meeting at 10. I have a meeting at 11. I have a meeting at 2. I give my meeting schedule to her so that she can plan the works with the kids. So I generally
Right.
ask for it. I make it clear to everyone in the home.
Right. Yeah. So asking is a big thing that women should learn. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I have one more question, and that is, I heard somewhere, I think Kiran Bedi, she talks about the three M's in a woman's life. And the last one is the one that is the biggest one, which is motherhood. So, how did motherhood impact you and your business?
Okay, when I got pregnant, I had mixed feelings, to be very frank. So, am I doing it right or wrong, or should I wait? Should I have postponed it like this? Thought and all came. But my mom always used to say one thing in Tamil, "Makkat selvame siranda selvam," like the best wealth that you're having is kids. She
Yeah.
always used to say. So it was just 2 years after marriage, and I said, "Let me finish all these, and then again I can boost the business." But one of the best thing that I did in my entire career is having kids. Once you have kids only, you will actually understand that you should manage your time very wisely. So one
Yes.
kid, my graph went really high because I learned how to manage my work, kids, everything. I don't want to sacrifice my family time. So I started figuring out all small loopholes. How do I automate this? Why I'm doing this task? Can't I
Right.
delegate to someone? So kids were a very big learning for me. And another thing that keeps you more humble is kids. Like maybe
Yes.
what I thought, I don't know, it may be a little rude, but what I thought, once you grow in your career, no, you will have little arrogance that will automatically come. But I
It
have
comes a
never
little
got it.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have never got it because I know like whatever I do at the end of the day, when I'm with the kids, no, I'll be in a different way.
Yes.
So that gives me a very subtle feel. And like, for example, I stay in West Bengal and from Chennai. Here, many of them don't know that I'm doing a business itself. I'll
Yeah.
be like a very normal person. They just know like something she's doing. That's it. Very
Yeah.
hardly few people who is on Instagram following me only will understand. That too, they don't get the whole picture. So kids keep you more organized and they will keep you very cool. Uh, But I had a lot of problems after the kids. Actually, I was very hyper. I was like, what can I do? Like anger came in the like you call it postpartum depression. The first kid was
Right.
during the COVID, so it was very hard for me. Then I slowly understood and coming out of his what hard, and then I only suggested second kid to my family. Like they were like, "What you yourself were saying?" I said, "No, I just want to plan it." And after the second kid only, I learned many things. Like last year, I got the second kid. From 3 months, I started traveling for meetings, everything. So
Oh.
I clearly understood when two kids are there, the two kids started interacting really good. My first kid was very cranky till 3 years. But once the second kid came, both are well matured. They both are actually spending times together. So I can relax and get back. So
Oh,
kids
that's
is
the
one of the
strategy.
best things that I did in my entire career. And first kid, my graph grew. Second kid, I thought graph will go down. But again, it went higher because they are teaching us a lot of stuffs.
Right, right, right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Niveta, for sharing all those golden nuggets. And though you said that, a lot of people might not know what you're doing, only people who are following you on Instagram might know, but I know that you are a mega superstar in the e-commerce space. And people who go visit your Instagram, we'll put the link of your Instagram in the video description for sure. They would know that, how well you are doing, how well recognized you are in your industry, and the kind of articles that have been published about you. It has been a delight to know your story, learn from you, and I'm sure everybody who is listening will take a lot of golden nuggets out of this podcast. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Manmit. And this was a very different, very casual interview. That's what I felt like. I did not speak like an interview, but you made me to speak out of the heart, and you completely understood because you're a woman entrepreneur. So the
Yes.
wavelength was perfectly matching. Thanks for making to speak out of the heart.
Thank you so much, Niveta. Thank you for your
Yeah.
time.
Thank you. Bye bye. Yes. Bye.